We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
While doing the editing for this video, the news broke that Jimmy Kimmel will be back on the air and has been reinstated with ABC. I will be doing another video soon about that. Just letting you know that the editing of this exceptionally long video took longer than anticipated. And during that process, the news broke that Jimmy Kimmel's back. That still does not take away from the relevance of the following video. Thank you for your time.
And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
Lies, rumors, and lies. That was the beginning hook of a rap song back in the 90s. It also goes to a song by Club Nouveau back in the late 80s or early 90s. The song was called Rumors. Look at all these rumors. There was also a film, and believe it or not, I cannot remember which film this is, but I know it was set during the World War II or Cold War era, where they were trying to decipher a message from the enemy, and what the enemy did was flood the radio waves with so many messages that they were able to hide their true intent. It's what is often referred to in modern terms as the water hose effect, where you give the public so much information that the real juicy and significant information is hidden in the barrage. And that's what's going on with this whole Jimmy Kimmel incident. There's so much being said and done and so many people bitching and griping that the true nuggets, that the true heart of the matter is being missed. And we will talk about that. Let's get into it. Okay, shocker, or if you haven't heard, Jimmy Kimmel has been indefinitely suspended. That is the most accurate thing to say because that is what ABC and their affiliates have reported.
Oh no. Anyway,
he has been indefinitely suspended. Highly doubt he'll come back.
I may be wrong, but I doubt it.
And contrary to what people tell you, it's not what you think it is.
Nope.
No way.
A lot of things I want to cover here is this cancel culture. As much as the right bitched about it, does the left have the right to use it? Is this an attack on free speech?
Good question.
Should Kimmel be fired for his comments?
I don't know. That's a good question.
I don't know.
All those things. And I want to take it step by step. And believe that the first step that I want to take is a show that I used to follow on YouTube. It was the Outkick show with Clay Travis. The reason I say I used to, he's been on a bit of a, let's call it an inconsistency tear. To be more blunt, it's more of a hypocritical tear. To expedite things, to help y'all understand, I'm going to do what I always do. I'm going to let Clay Travis speak for himself. So you're going to hear it. It's from his previous episode. I clipped pertinent segments. They're all in context. And I want you guys to hear what he says and then hear my commentary on it.
So I will start with this. I know, and like Jimmy and his family, you guys know that Sal and I were on the same show together, who is Jimmy's cousin, for years. I know Jimmy. I obviously know Sal really well. Sal is a friend, and I know and like Jimmy's family and consider them to be really good people. So let's start there. And I may be the only person in America who has this take, and some.
Before he continues, I agree. Let's start there. He has, to his credit, he has admitted, hey, I like him. They're friends. I like him. They are friends, meaning they being Jimmy and his cousin Sal, who, that's another story. Sal's a hilarious dude. But he admitted, Jimmy's my friend. I like him.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Clay Travis is a graduate of law school. I think it's Vanderbilt, or University of George Washington. Anyway, he graduated law school. He has passed the bar. This is an intelligent man. This is an attorney. What Clay is about to do is something that, as an attorney, he would ask a judge not to do. If a judge has any kind of personal connection to any of the people involved in a case that is presented to him, the judge will recuse himself. Clay would have been very smart and very intelligent to say nothing at all past that. If he would have said, he's my friend, I'm not going to comment, that would have been fine.
Yep.
But that's not what Clay does. He'll continue.
Some of you are going to hop in the mentions, and you're going to be mad at me, and I'm going to lay out exactly what I think, and you disagree, you can still be mad at me. Guess what? My life doesn't change, because all I do is try to tell you exactly what I think every day. When Disney fired Roseanne Barr, she was on the most successful sitcom in America. She made a tweet they didn't like. They fired her. They wrote her off the show. When Gina Carano was on The Mandalorian, she shared social media posts that Disney did not like. They fired her. They wrote her off the show.
Pausing right there because I'm not sure what the ratings were for Roseanne Barr's show when she was fired and removed from her own show because of literally, it was an insensitive joke, but you could see that was a joke there. That was a joke. You know how I do it. Y'all can go look that up for yourselves. You can make the determination on your own if it was racial or if it was worthy of firing. But it was a bad scoring joke. You know, one of those insult jokes. You look like this, or you so ugly. One of those type of jokes. Go look it up. You will see it. So far as Gina Carano and The Mandalorian, yes. At that time, The Mandalorian was Disney Plus's #1 streaming show.
That is the most successful show on network television, obviously other than sports. That is the most successful streaming show on the Disney Plus network at the time. Both Roseanne, Gina Carano fired, and most people on the left cheered. When both those things happened, I did not approve of that choice. And that is because I think we all benefit when we do not engage in canceling people over jokes, in canceling people over tweets, in canceling people over social media posts when they are in creative spaces.
Now that caveat he laid down, when they are in creative spaces. Now, Clay Travis has gone on the record that he is a free speech absolutist. So I don't understand that caveat. If you say that they shouldn't be fired or canceled, it shouldn't have anything to do with creative spaces at all. If you say they should not be fired or canceled for anything that they say or tweet on social media or say out there on public television, if that's the argument that you are making, there is no caveat.
No, sir.
Me personally, I have caveats out the ass. I literally have caveats because I have gotten to a point, especially recently, thinking about what really is free speech. I honestly believe there are things that should not be said. Look, I don't agree with the Supreme Court's declaration or ruling that burning the American flag is protected under free speech. Now, my personal belief,
It's bullshit.
I believe if you want to burn the flag, you should get the fuck out the country,
Yes, sir.
if that's how you feel. But that's just me. I can't say I am a free speech absolutist. I can say I believe in free speech, but there should be boundaries. There should be, there should also be some exceptions. But I'm not gonna come on here and tell y'all, oh, I'm a free speech absolutist, which means across the board, and then say, well, only in this situation. No, I'm gonna be real with you. There are certain things that you should not be able to say and escape consequence free. Because this is the same man who, I guarantee you, if somebody said, I want to kill the president, and they faced no repercussions, he'd bitch about it. And actually, I think he has. That's not, believe it or not, and that's not protected under free speech. If you put that out there on social media, you will get a knock from the Secret Service on your front door.
Hell yeah, absolutely.
So even that is misconstrued. I beg all of you to go read the First Amendment for yourselves. It is detailed, not just freedom of speech. Read the breakdown of that, because in the Constitution, they actually list how that's supposed to work. It basically means you should not be persecuted by your government if you say anything against the government. Let us continue.
I think we have to stand on principle. And my principle is this: if you want to fire somebody because they're not doing a good job at a job, you should fire them. But we should never be in a position where we are firing people because we don't like the way a sentence landed, or because we don't like the way a joke landed, or because we don't like the way that a tweet landed. When you're in the creative space, you should.
Now, first, I agree. You should always stand on your principles. That's the first thing. And again, I agree. Because something upset you and hurt your feelings, it's not worthy of having your life ruined and your livelihood taken away.
I agree.
Should be judged on the collective, not on the one tweet, right? And so I'm going to probably be the only person in America who has stood up for Roseanne, who has stood up for Gina Carano, and who is standing up for Jimmy Kimmel. I don't think Disney should have suspended or fired any of them.
Here's the difference. Roseanne Barr was a joke gone bad. That was a horrible, if you want to look at it that way, it was a horrible joke that she tweeted. Okay. Gina Carano literally just said that where America was going at the time, and what kind of still is how Nazis were able to take control and take hold in Germany.
True that. True that.
It was a very apropos post that she made on Instagram. Very accurate. And her firing was very hypocritical because her co-star, the guy who plays the Mandalorian, Mr. I'm Everywhere Myself, Pedro Pascal, well, he made a post equating MAGA voters and Trump supporters to Confederates and the Nazis.
Damn.
But nothing happened to him.
Not a damn thing.
And unlike a lot of people on the left who celebrated Roseanne and Gina Carano, I'm actually being consistent and standing on principle over power and over politics. And so I'm going to defend Jimmy Kimmel. I'm going to defend Gina Carano. I'm going to defend Roseanne Barr. I think the standard should be lenient for everybody. And I defended, obviously, myself when the cancel culture jackals came for me.
Here's the thing about that. Jimmy Kimmel wasn't telling a joke.
No, not at all.
He was intentionally misleading the public, misleading his audience on definitively false information.
Yep.
There was no joke in there. That was no joke. He came out and lied. That's not a comedian making a bad joke. That's a propagandist coming out and spreading more false propaganda.
Exactly.
But this is the culture that the left created. And if you do not apologize to Gina Carano, and if you do not apologize to Roseanne Barr and say we should have shown grace instead of coming for you, then I don't care what you say about Jimmy Kimmel.
Now, there I can agree. ABC is, for better or for worse, they are sticking to their guns in this particular situation. This time, they got rid of the other two. They are getting rid of him. And I will expound upon that at the end of Clay's video segment here. But that can totally agree on.
Because you're not standing on principle, you are standing on power. And look, Jimmy Kimmel, if he loses his ABC nightly show, he is going to be fine. And he's going to be able to find a new podcast, or he's going to be able to find a new show, and his voice is going to be heard.
Let's stop right there, because it's a good place to interject where I also want to do things. Here is why I say about the lies, rumors, and the overwhelming amount of information out there. There was a situation a couple of years ago involving a cartoon, I believe an award-winning cartoon that I really like. It's called Rick and Morty. One of the co-creators, Justin Roiland, was accused of some really disgusting things. It ended up being false. In the immediate aftermath of the accusations coming out, reports started coming out about what kind of asshole coworker he was. All kinds of very disgusting, rude, inappropriate things around the workplace. Even his attendance at work, his effort at the job started coming out. So much so that I noticed it instantly. It was an article that was written that had about 2 lines, maybe a whole paragraph about the actual charges he was accused of. But the rest of that article was literally talking about what kind of horrible human being he was to work with.
Huh. That's odd.
I knew then, even if these accusations prove to be true, he is not getting his job back. As a co-creator of I believe, an award-winning cartoon show, he was not going to get his spot back. No chance in hell! The Cartoon Network, Adult Swim, were going to use this as a way to get rid of a office problem.
Yep.
And sure enough, it took maybe 3 months of investigation, and they found out that the individual accusing Justin Roiland of this was full of shit. It took them 3 months. That happened in 2023. Didn't get his spot back. As predicted, it wasn't about the accusations. The accusations were an excuse to get rid of somebody that they wanted to get rid of in the first place. I say all that to lead us here. This was just an excuse to get rid of somebody that was already on the downside on the TV show. His TV show was already going into the pooper. Allow me to share this with you. From the New York Post, the headline read, Jimmy Kimmel's ratings were plummeting before ABC suspended him for Charlie Kirk comments. Now, what I want to get to here, down the top commentary, I want to get to the numbers, and they use the actual numbers. Scrolling down, that part doesn't matter. Here, Nielsen data. You can look this up. Nielsen data showed sharp summer declines and a year-long slide that leaves him trailing late-night rivals such as Fox News' Greg Gutfeld and CBS star Stephen Colbert. According to monthly Nielsen figures, Jimmy Kimmel Live dropped to just 1.1 million total viewers in August 2025, down 43% from January's 1.95, almost 2 million.
Damn!
His August household rating of 3.5 marked the weakest showing of the year.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
As a person that went to a business magnet high school, who worked for a brief time as a financial services rep, let me tell y'all in a very succinct, semi-hood way, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense.
And that's it.
Continuing, The advertiser coveted 18 to 49 demo also cratered. Kimmel averaged only 129,000 viewers in that bracket in August, off from 212,000 in January and less than half of his June peak of 284,000. Y'all see the numbers. With his ABC contract set to expire next year, the slump raises questions about whether Jimmy Kimmel Live can regain momentum against Colbert, Fallon, and cable insurgents. That's what this is really about. That's what this is truly about. He wasn't making them enough money, if any. You see, the ratings were plummeting. Continuing on, despite ABC's indefinite suspension of the show, the network has not announced any change to its contractual pay. Now, here's what I want to talk about right there. In most contracts, there is a morality clause that will allow a company to get out of a contract with you without having to pay you a dime. I highly doubt that Jimmy Kimmel's lawyers would allow that much to happen, but I also seriously doubt that ABC will pay him the full buyout on what's left of that contract. This is called a negotiating tool. He'll leave with less than what he wanted, but more than what ABC wanted to pay. Both sides leave unhappy. The Post saw comment from Kimmel and ABC. This year's erosion in viewership follows a bumpy 2024. Annual Nielsen ratings compiled by industry site Late Nighter. Again, this is free mind thinkers, y'all. We'll tell you, go look it up for yourself. Don't just listen to me. These are things that I encourage you to go research on your own because you may see something that I overlooked. Feel free. Showed Jimmy Kimmel averaged 1.77 million total viewers last year, down 2.3% from 2023. In the demo, that 18 to 49, that's the cherry spot everybody wants. He shared more than 12%, pulling 221,000 nightly viewers on average. By comparison, CBS's Late Show with Stephen Colbert held the top broadcast spot with 2.5 million viewers and 281,000 in the demo, despite also losing ground year over year. Yeah, the CBS, the Late Show with Stephen Colbert, yeah, that's already been canceled. It's ending next year. And that is because, wait a minute, let me show y'all this. Recent reports indicate that Stephen Colbert's show, The Late Show, was losing a significant amount of money for CBS, which cited financial reasons when announced the program's cancellation. So CBS even said it's costing us significant money. CBS sources claim, CBS, this is not an outside, this is the people that actually produced the show, CBS. CBS sources claim the show was costing them, losing them between 40 and 50 million annually.
Damn.
Despite leading the ratings for traditional late night television. So people want to say, and they said it about the Stephen Colbert Show as well. Oh, Trump's coming out to free speech.
Calm down, calm down.
No. Let me add this before I jump any further. ABC wholly outright owns Hulu. If ABC wanted to keep Jimmy Kimmel, they could have. They could have made it strictly a streaming show.
Yeah, that's a good point.
They didn't. That's because they want out of the Jimmy Kimmel / late night television business. They see it as a black hole, a sinkhole, a money pit. They want out of it. Same rule applies to CBS. They own Paramount Streaming, but they also were bought out by Skydance. Skydance came in and told them, this ain't making money, this ain't making money, this ain't making money.
You gotta go.
They've got rid of some Star Trek shows. They've got rid of Stephen Colbert. Again, if they wanted it, they could have kept it. They didn't have to make it broadcast television. They could have made it streaming. But again, they have no audience. At least not enough audience to make up for the cost of producing that show.
I'm stating facts.
So it's gone. Now let's get back to Mr. Travis here.
Okay? Here's what I think is actually going on. Now, a lot of people out there have not talked about this. I think Disney acted because Disney is desperate to buy the NFL Network assets, and they're going to need the Trump administration to okay that.
Seriously? Seriously? Seriously?
It's not outside of reason. That conclusion, that deduction, that assumption, it's not outside of the realm of reason. Because that's why people thought Colbert got canceled, was to let the merger of Paramount and Skydance go through. Oh, they got rid of him so they can go ahead and merge, and so they did a favor for Trump so Trump can go ahead and let it go through. Trump isn't the guy overseeing mergers like that. That's the Trade Commission. That's again, y'all attribute so much to Trump. Apparently, Trump is the first president that does everything. Apparently, Trump is the very first president that has his fingers and imprints on every single thing that happens within the federal government. If that were true, I guarantee you things would have moved along or would be a lot further along than they are now.
I think if you look at Stephen Colbert getting fired by Paramount, I think if you look potentially at Jimmy Kimmel getting fired by ABC, the story is not Colbert and Kimmel. The story is their networks have decided that those shows are not worth taking hits from the administration because they have bigger business ambitions when it comes to the merger that Paramount was allowed to do, and also when it comes to the NFL media acquisitions. I think they're currying favor with the administration by firing people that they know the administration does not like in an effort to try to get their acquisitions through as signed off on.
I'm surrounded by idiots.
Crazy part about that is, if y'all didn't know any better, y'all would think he was a leftist with that comment alone.
I know, right?
With the way he just stoked the flames of, yeah, they're doing this to please the Trump administration. Yes. Let us throw bodies to the beast and let us appease the Trump administration.
Did you take a stupid pill with your breakfast this morning?
I wouldn't believe this man is actually a friend to Trump, because as a friend to Trump, you would think he would not say things like that. He would not stoke the left-wing media fires. He wouldn't stoke the left-wing media conspiracies that Trump is over the FTC and the FCC, the Federal Communication. You think that he would not lean into or give any form of credibility to the left, but he just did. He came out and said, and they will use it. They will say, oh, look, there's Clay Travis, a man who's close to Trump, who boosted Trump, who supported Trump, who gets private one-on-ones with Trump, who's even telling us that, see, we were right. It is Trump. He's the reason Colbert is gone. He's the reason that Kimmel's gone.
No, it's not. No.
It's strictly business. It's bad ratings. You are literally costing us more than you are worth.
It's just that plain and fucking simple.
Clay Travis, y'all, he is something else.
That's the story here. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody's telling you any of it.
That wasn't the story.
Also would say that ultimately this is all connected to the left and their attempt to create a story that the assassin here was not actually motivated by animus for Charlie Kirk from the left, but actually killed him because he was a right-winger.
Now, that is very true. That is what his friend, I won't let y'all forget that part.
My buddy.
That is what his friend Jimmy Kimmel said. His friend Jimmy Kimmel said the exact same thing. His friend Jimmy Kimmel came out and told his audience that the right was stoking up flames and basically creating false stories and false narratives that this guy was not a left winger, but some kind of right winger.
Whatever, dude.
Meaning the killer was a right winger. That's a lie. Jamel Hill spread it. Lots of prominent left-wing accounts spread that idea.
Yep. That's why your buddy got fired. He just spread it.
I don't know what was written in the teleprompter. I don't know the intent of the joke in the teleprompter. I know how it landed, which was people on the left have been trying to avoid blame for calling Trump Hitler for a decade, calling Trump a fascist, calling all of us Nazis for.
He's right about all that. That's why Kimmel came out there and said what he said, because the left, again, would have to admit we have a piss poor immediate history of radicalizing killers.
Period.
Decade. They've been trying to avoid that being the spark that lit the match that led to Charlie Kirk's assassination. They're trying to avoid blame for that. And so Jimmy Kimmel's language at the start of the joke was such that that was the way it was taken. Biggest picture from late night comedy.
Let's stop right there because I need y'all, if you haven't heard it verbatim, I'm going to play for you this joke. This joke that Clay keeps referencing as a joke. I'm going to play the clip. Now, they have pulled that particular monologue from Jimmy Kimmel's YouTube site, his YouTube channel. So I'm having to use other sources to find it. I found a pretty solid one. So let's see how this plays out. I haven't had a chance to exactly go through it, but hopefully this has it in its entirety.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from.
So that's how it opened. That was his opening comment. I'm going past everything else because I want to focus strictly on what Kimmel said.
Reaction to the murder.
In between the finger pointing, there was grieving. On Friday, the White House flew the flags at half staff, which got some criticism. But on a human level, you can see how hard the president is taking this.
My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks? They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House, which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years. And it's going to be a beauty.
Yes. He's at the fourth stage of grief, construction. Demolition, construction. This is not how an adult grieves the murder of someone he called a friend. This is how a 4-year-old mourns a goldfish, okay?
Hey, funny guy, I got a joke for you. What smells rotten and puts people to sleep?
Noxious gas?
No, your act.
So that was it in its entirety. And believe it or not, the only part that was a joke in that, the only part that I could deem a joke in that is when he said the fourth stage of grief, construction. That part, that was a joke. Because I will tell you in honesty, that was a horrible look on the behalf of Trump. That was a terrible look. To go from, oh, I'm taking it, okay, but look at this beautiful ballroom we're building. Yes, that was an absolutely horrendous look.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Especially over the loss of a friend. I, as you know, all those people who've long-term followed this channel, and the newer people may not, my baby brother died a few months ago. Shock and grief. I know it doesn't just go away like that. So I will say that Jimmy Kimmel made a solid joke right there. And he may have had a point about that's how a child grieves a goldfish, but coming from him.
Shut up. Shut up.
That part was a joke. That part, when he talked about the fourth stage of grief being construction. But that beginning part, when he talked about the the MAGA gang doing everything to make it seem like that the killer was anything but somebody from the right, that was inherently and factually false.
The lie detector determined that was a lie.
Because that day, earlier that day, the attorney from Utah came out and read proof from statements from witnesses that stated that the shooter had gone political. He had grown more political over the past year and a half.
Robinson's mother explained that over the last year or so, Robinson had become more political and had started to lean more to the left.
He knew this, and he still came out with it. See, that is what got him fired, not some kind of freedoms of speech attack.
I don't know.
No.
I don't know that late night.
Nah. It was bullshittery when it came to knowing what he was saying and stating patently false statements.
Comedy shows on ABC, CBS, or NBC, or Fox for that matter, meaning the big network, I don't know that there's an audience for them anymore. And that Roseanne Barr, she was on the most successful sitcom, that being the spark that lit the match that led to Charlie Kirk's assassination. Biggest picture from late night comedy? I don't know. I don't know that late night comedy shows on ABC, CBS, or NBC, or Fox for that matter, meaning the big network, I don't know that there's an audience for them anymore.
Now, here's the crazy part about it. Here is where, when you are a friend of a extreme leftist, because I'll put it this way, when you are the friend of a high-end propagandist such as Jimmy Kimmel, and you're also trying to be both feet down on the right, you start to contradict yourself. Now, he just said, I am not sure if there is an audience for late night anymore.
That is correct.
Two things that he said prior to that. One being, oh, well, you know, the reason he got fired was because they were trying to curry favor.
That's right.
You just said there's not an audience anymore.
There's got to be something else in here. There's got to be another way.
That's why he was fired. Second thing, didn't he also say that he'll be all right? Jimmy Kimmel will land a podcast and the people will go flocking to him. He'll be fine.
Yeah, that was it. That's it.
If they're not flocking to him and habitually watched late night television, what makes you think they're going to follow him on a podcast?
That doesn't make any sense.
But if you have no audience on standard broadcast television, what makes you think you're going to find one on YouTube?
No. He's got a point.
There are several people that have tried that life that have thought that, oh, starting a YouTube or a podcast, that's going to be easy. Well, you're already going to be behind the eight ball because there are people already out there more entertaining than you. YouTube overall draws more viewers than all of late night TV combined. People like Mr. Beast, Asmongold draw more viewers than all of late night television combined. I repeat, Asmongold and Mr. Beast draw more viewers than late night TV combined. So I don't know what makes Clay think that, oh, he's going to hop over there and he'll be fine. He'll be right as rain.
And that was before they went super political. I think going super left-wing political hastened their demise. It looked like a life vest. It was actually a rock that took them to the bottom of the ocean faster. But if you went with someone completely apolitical, I'll give you a name. My friend Nate Bargatze, based right here in Nashville. Probably the most popular comedian in America right now. If ABC or CBS or NBC came to him and said, you're our guy, we want you hosting a late night show. We want it pretty much Johnny Carson style, Jay Leno style, try to appeal to everybody, make light humor at everyone's expense. Is there an audience for that? I don't know. And you might say, well, yes, certainly there is, Clay. I don't know. Because Netflix has.
So if you don't know if there's a late night audience, Clay, what makes you think that they're going to follow this man or any of those people to a podcast style setup, to a YouTube style setup? What makes you think that they're just going to run their ass and follow these people that they're already not watching? He's an attorney, y'all. He was an attorney. He learned, trained, and was taught as an attorney. And right now, if he brought this argument to a courtroom, he would be eaten up.
Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
To a large extent, taken over comedy. So if you're in bed late at night and you're like, hey, you know what I want to do? I want to get ready for bed. Is there actually a demand for late night topical celebrity interview, a few guests? I don't know. I don't know if there is a demand for that. I do know and feel that we accelerated the demise of late night television by having Stephen Colbert decide that he is a partisan propagandist for the left attacking President Trump every night, which effectively turned comedy in America into an exercise in left-wing propaganda, and in so doing did to the NBA what also did to comedy what also happened to the NBA, which is basically you told half the country, at least, hey, we don't want your business anymore.
Now, what I don't like there is he just mentioned Stephen Colbert. Isn't the reason that his buddy is out of here is because he was a left-wing propagandist that just spread lies, but you don't give him any flack or any credit for doing exactly what Colbert did?
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. No, it doesn't. Not cool at all.
He should have recused himself from this entire topic.
Some of you out there have said, okay, Clay, well, how would you handle the Charlie Kirk people who are on social media celebrating Charlie Kirk's assassination? It's a good question. I would fire. You can believe in free speech, but to me, I don't want to employ someone who is so lacking in basic humanity that they would celebrate Charlie Kirk's assassination. I don't own Outkick anymore, but if we had an employee who went on social media and celebrated Charlie Kirk's assassination, I would fire them.
Huh? Because didn't he just say that people shouldn't be canceled or fired for their comments? That's what he said at the very beginning of this.
Yes.
But now he just said that as a business, if somebody celebrated Charlie Kirk's death, he would fire them.
What?
Well, if they celebrated his death, if they said, I'm glad he's gone, haha, hope the bullet's okay, and all the things these other vile ass people said, isn't that freedom of speech? And he just said that people shouldn't be fired for expressing themselves?
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
When your friend is on the extreme left and you're trying to keep your feet planted in the center right, you make yourself look foolish. You make yourself look like a moronic asshole and hypocrite.
He's out of line, but he's right.
In the creative space, and you can say this is self-serving, maybe it is. Obviously, I'm somewhat biased because I'm in the creative space. In the creative space, I think we should err on the side of giving creative people, comedians, TV people, radio guys and gals, I think we should err on the side of giving more space. But once you have established a principle, I think you should follow it. I think.
And finally, ABC followed it. You say some foul shit according to their rule book, whatever it may be, you gone. They followed the rule book, Clay. And also, and let's just get this part established. He was not released for the joke, because the only joke that was made was when he said the fourth stage of grieving, which was a legitimate joke based on the segment that they showed of Trump.
Yeah.
But that lead into it, that wasn't a joke.
No, it wasn't. That wasn't close.
That was deliberate and intentional misrepresentation of facts to mislead the masses.
Ding, 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 ding.
It wasn't a joke, Clay. But you said at the beginning, he's your homeboy. That's your buddy. So of course you won't go in on him.
You are also my friend. I have been and always shall be yours.
I now want to address, is this cancel culture?
Please, go on.
Is this the same thing that the right complained about that the left has been doing for years? There are a couple of layers to this. One is, I don't see it as cancel culture as the right complained about when it was at its peak.
Enlighten me.
Here's what I mean. Leftists were finding 10-year-old tweets, 10-year-old jokes made, and then reaching out to people's sponsors or jobs based on a old tweet that someone said, an offhand remark or something of that nature. People were getting other people's livelihoods taken because they didn't like their opinion. They didn't agree. Hell, they're still trying to get J.K. Rowling canceled.
And they are so dumb.
All because she said that men are men and women are women. The other 99% of the crap she believes is, I won't say extreme, but left. It is very liberal, very progressive. Just that one thing and they want her canceled. Same thing with Elon Musk. He has a very liberal and progressive mindset. But the second he came out and said suppression of opinion in the public forum, such as Twitter, shouldn't be allowed, he became the enemy.
You will be destroyed. You will be destroyed.
Even though he agrees with a large majority of what the left believed in. So is it cancel culture the same way that the right bitched about it when the left was using it? No, it is not. It is not the same type.
But wait, there's more.
Follow me here, because as I stated, the left was using old tweets and hurt feelings to mass report and to overwhelmingly get people's livelihoods taken. We're not talking about anything provable. We're talking about this person made a comment or a joke. Follow me. This person made a comment or a joke, more than likely, and in most cases, very old. That's cancel culture. When you want somebody gone for no reason other than you don't like them. That's it. That's what the right was complaining about. Y'all wanted people gone because you didn't like them. What's going on right now is the true definition of consequences. Consequence culture.
That's it.
With Jimmy Kimmel, you came out and blatantly lied. Oh, the MAGA gang is trying to prove and show that this killer is anything except one of them.
You little liar!
He wasn't a right. He was a leftist. The attorney told you this. You knew this before you spoke those words. End of the story there. You came out and you blatantly lied.
100 million billion %.
You misled the masses. You were gone because of that. If you go look at the FCC comment, the FCC even stated as much. His irresponsible rhetoric creates further division in America at a time when it needs to heal. That's a summarization of what the FCC had put out there.
Yeah, I can't argue with that.
So this is a consequence. Now, taking it outside the realm of Jimmy Kimmel, same thing with these teachers. You are a teacher. You have a moral obligation to teach children right and wrong.
Preach.
As well as parents. Well, right then, when they're at the school, your job is to be a pseudo parent, not a full parent, a pseudo parent. Your job is to teach a subject and give children good foundations for morality, a good moral foundation. That is your job as a teacher. Instead, y'all are having children or in front of children celebrating the murder of someone you don't like. What do you think that tells kids?
Wow.
So essentially, let's say one of those kids sees that. He takes that to heart. He ends up killing someone you love, or maybe even you. And then he goes, well, I didn't like the way she did this back when I was in 6th grade, so I had the right to kill her, right? That's what she taught me.
Hold up. Let him.
No, because most leftists can't see 5 minutes past their fucking face. They don't see the detriment of what they're doing.
No, you do not.
They only see somebody we don't like is dead. Yeah. You never thought about it. You never took one single solitary second to do the old a time to kill moment. Y'all remember Time to Kill? Y'all remember the courtroom scene?
I want to tell you a story. I'm going to ask you all to close your eyes. I'll tell you this story. I want you to listen to me. I want you to listen to yourselves. Go ahead. Close your eyes, please. This is a story about a little girl walking home from the grocery store one sunny afternoon. I want you to picture this little girl. Suddenly a truck races up. 2 men jump out and grab her. They drag her into a nearby field. And they tie her up. And they rip her clothes from her body. Now they climb on. First one, then the other. Raping her. Shattering everything innocent and pure. A vicious thrust. In a fog of drunken breath and sweat. And when they're done, after they've killed her tiny womb, murdered any chance for her to bear children, to have life beyond her own, they decide to use her for target practice. So they start throwing full beer cans at her. They throw them so hard that it tears the flesh all the way to her bones. And they urinate on her. Now comes the hanging. They have a rope. They tie a noose. Imagine the noose coiling tight around her neck. And a sudden blinding jerk. She's pulled into the air and her feet and legs go kicking and they don't find the ground. The hanging branch isn't strong enough. It snaps and she falls back to the earth. So they pick her up, throw her in the back of the truck, drive out to Foggy Creek Bridge, pitch her over the edge. She drops some 30 feet down to the creek bottom below. Can you see her? Her raped, beaten, broken body, soaked in their urine, soaked in their semen, soaked in her blood, left to die. Can you see her? I want you to picture a little girl. Now imagine she's white.
Just like that. If you think it's okay for someone to celebrate the murder of another person, I want you to do that. I want you to think about, this is all the liberals, the lefties out there. I want y'all to think about this. I want you to think about an influential person in your circle, in your world. Kamala Harris, Barack, Joe Biden. I want you to think about the people who you believe has the greatest influence in your sphere. Joy Reid, Joe Scarborough. I want you to think about those people. I want you to think about those people doing what they do, whether that be in the news studio, whether that be out on the road, in the public, at a public forum or town hall. I want you to think about those people doing what they feel so passionate about. I want you to think about maybe the host of The View, the ladies of The View at a town hall talking to a live crowd, and someone comes up there and suicide bombs. I want you to picture the host of The View at a public event, and you get somebody, an extreme right-wing person that straps a bomb vest on, runs on that stage and detonates, and body parts go everywhere. And their families, their friends that are watching that, that's the image that is perpetually in their head. That's the image that has been recorded and more than likely archived by probably millions of people. So it's out there forever now. I want you to think about how heinous that was. And then I want you to think about, after seeing that heinous act, seeing someone suicide bomb View host at a fictional public forum, body parts and shrapnel everywhere. And I want you to think about right-wing people celebrating it. I want you to think about people like Tucker Carlson or Sean Hannity, Megyn Kelly. How would you feel if they got on social media and made all kinds of jokes? Picture Megyn Kelly immediately after that going on Twitter going, and boom goes the dynamite. How would you feel? Think about your favorite left-wing person being assassinated in the most heinous way at a public forum, and people from the right celebrating it. What would you want to happen? What would you expect to happen to them?
Proceeds on your way to oblivion.
That's what I thought. You see, when I said this wasn't cancel culture, it was consequence culture. That's exactly what I meant. But even if this was cancel culture, even if this was what the left is claiming is cancel culture, I would say this.
Okay, this is the bitter truth.
We're playing the game by your rules. You don't get to bitch now that you're losing.
Exactly.
You set the parameters. You gave the rules of engagement. And now that those rules are working against you, you cannot bitch, you cannot cry, you cannot whine, you cannot moan. All you can do is take it like the right has been taking it for the last 5+ years.
Deal with it.
That's all I got for this segment of Free Mind Thinkers. If you like what you heard, click that like button down below. If you want to hear more, hit the subscribe button, press the notification bell, and you will be notified every time that I upload. I also ask that you leave a comment down below, and most importantly, share me out there. Love me, hate me, agree or disagree. Let's get a conversation started, because that is the most important thing. I want to say thank you very much for giving me a listen and giving me a portion of your time. I know what time is. It is not replaceable and precious to us all. This is your man, Big Brother Tucker, representing Free Mind Thinkers, reminding you to always stand up, stand out, think differently. And I'll holler.